Greetings, I'm David, and this is Crusader Kings 3. I'm turning off the nudity just because YouTube don't really want to get in trouble for something like that. Um, so Crusader Kings 3 is a paradox game, very much in the same vein as uh EU4. Um, but if that game is more about countries, this is more about people. So we can choose a couple different time eras or people. These are just the suggestions. One of the ones that I'm thinking about, because I play tested this one and I was doing pretty well. But it was like my first time, so I didn't quite know what to do. And it's as the Count of Dijon, down here in what will be Burgundy. It's an interesting start. And obviously I'll enable Iron Man. It's not quite like EU4 where there's like 300 different achievements and you're likely to get something. But it's a nice challenge, you know? So let's see. So this guy starts out as lustful, lazy, and vengeful. None of which are overly great traits, but we could create our own ruler, I suppose. I think I'm just gonna stick with this. So let's see. Count Rail. Ooh. Okay, so we do not have an heir. So the key with and there's a lot of differences between this game and EU4. For one, it's much more character driven. There's a lot more. The game is driven a lot more by characters than by um let me think. Than countries, you know. Who's this? She's French. So we want to find some good traits. So you can obviously find a wife based off of a few different things, or a spouse off of a few different things. But something like inheritable traits are really something you're looking for. Your potential alliances, because alliances are built off of marriages, not just, hey, you want to be my ally because we both hate this country. Like in EU4, alliances and then claims. So this one in particular is I believe this is a pressed claim. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But essentially, this will get inherited by the children, by any children. So let's see. Beautiful. See if there's any good traits there. Bulgaria, she's lowborn, which is not ideal, although our prestige isn't that big of a deal. She's chaste. That's so. This game is kind of like an RPG where everyone has traits, and those affect your stats. So wrathful, but she's humble, and she's chaste. We are lustful. So that's not really a good combination. Other traits, such as genius. If there's any geniuses, there are not. Quick, and I think smart, maybe? Can't remember what there's like 3 levels usually. Genius, quick is 1. Anyone, all lowborn. Diligent, compassionate, gluttonous, greedy, patient, sadistic, ambitious, generous, patient. So, one's Irish, greedy, patient, sadistic probably is blunt. I'm not like explaining all these different what this means for the game. So like greedy gives this person a -2 to their diplomacy, but their monthly income and monthly income per stress level increased. Honest, fickle, lustful, ambitious. I don't particularly like ambitious for anyone other than your heir, but none of these are overly bad. I just choose someone. Unfortunately, we will take a hit, but we now have a spouse who has an inheritable trait, which is quick, which means that some of our kids could possibly get that trait, which would be good for us. Holy. I don't particularly like any of those. So our father, who is this guy, Count Eudes of Bourbon, we are his heir. So there's a very good chance that we will inherit all this land when he dies. We are just the County of Dijon. There's nothing else really here other than us. And I think we have in this one city who is held by this mayor. I like this start because, one, we start out as a count. So it gives us a lot of room to work our way up. We're very far inland, so we're not going to get raided by Vikings from Scandinavia very easily, at least. Our only major threat might be Lotharingia, but the Kingdom of France should protect us. Plus, there's a lot of other small guys nearby that should hopefully protect us. Or there's, well, I should say, there's a lot of small guys nearby that we can expand and ideally form the Duchy of Burgundy. Our goal is to form the Duchy of Burgundy before we die and any of our like land gets split up. Since we only have the one holding at the moment, if we died right, no, well, not if we died right now. If we died right now, we lose the game. But if we had our heir, only the heir would get this, would get our main holding. So we won't have to worry about anything like splitting up. So this is just going to tell us that we need an heir, and we'll worry about that later. So we're first in line to inherit all of this stuff, which is pretty good. I really like having that. Okay. Not endorsed by your guy. All right. So start off. Let's try and sway our bishop. So you have a court. You have a court of people that are mainly there to advise you. You generally want to be giving your positions to powerful vassals. They generally want something on the court, so it makes sense. The only one that you don't really have any um, uh, authority to appoint is the bishop. That just kind of gets assigned as the guy dies. You want to get endorsed by him because you'll make more money that way, and you're able to ask for money. I don't think we want to appoint a physician just yet, because I think we want to hold off. I don't think we want to spend the money just yet on that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, we do want to construct some buildings, although we don't have the money at the moment. Excellent. I like to start with farms and fields, personally. Looks so angry for some reason. Because that will give us a 0.5 plus monthly tax. And especially building it on our main holding, we're going to get all the money for it, or from it. So it seems like a good move to me. Dijon is in a pretty good position to build tall early game. And once your father passes, or once your father dies and you inherit all this land, you're then in a really good position to make money that way as well. I don't know what these guys are doing. So this game can be a little slow at first, but it, again, the game is very much character driven, or people driven, I should say. After we're done with the sway, we should probably try and... Okay, that's good. um, like, obviously there's nothing wrong with homosexuals, but in this game and at this point in time, it's best not to get that trait. um, because it reduces your fertility, and you're just constantly going to be unhappy. Um, so yeah, you ideally want to be heterosexual as the ruler of a nation. That way you can um you can reproduce and spread your dynasty. As gross as that is. Unwelcome attention. Been pestering me for a long time now. Many of the other children listen to him. He uses his influence to turn them against me. I cannot get him to stop no matter what I do. He is the worst. I'm your bully. Rude. Who's this twat anyways? Never heard of him before. Does that, like, relationship show up at all? Curious. Who's this guy? You're bully. How do I know this guy? I don't know. That was weird. Okay. So, just continue on. Fortunately, we do need a lot of money in order to build any buildings. But once we do, we should start snowballing our money. I don't believe we have any claims on any of this. So we're gonna have to, if we want to expand, we're gonna have to fabricate. Alright, so let's see here. I don't really have any necessarily good Reaver. Don't have any necessarily like outstanding stat here. But martial focus is not bad. I also like stewardship. Let's see here. Stewardship, I think, works really well for this area. The extra income is always good. Marshall has some stuff. Casus Belli cost is pretty good. That honestly might be what we go with. I think I'll go with the Marshall for now, so that we can work to get cheaper Casus Bellis. Because Casus Bellis actually do cost quite a bit. When you have to pay to get a claim. So in order to get claims on people, just like standard claims, similar to EU4, where you have to get like a claim on a province, you have to send fabricate claim on a county, and you have to pay a bit of money, and then you'll get the claim. When you die, that claim goes away. So all right. I think that is fine. Sure, I already had that achievement, but whatever. Okay, so I could either gain money or I could gain prestige. I'm going to go with the money because I want money. Because I want to be able to construct a building here soon. Now, the sort of weird thing with Burgundy is the fact that the Kingdom of Burgundy is over here. Like, none of the land which is in the Duchy of Burgundy is in the Kingdom of Burgundy. Obviously, Upper Burgundy, which is this area, which in, I believe, EU4 is called like French Comté or something. That is part of the Kingdom of Burgundy. But I'm not sure if we'll be forming the Kingdom of Burgundy or if we'll just try and take the French throne at some point. Again, we should be in a pretty good position to build tall. Suede. Okay. That's good to see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and sway my wife. That way she'll like us a little better. Yeah, unfortunately, since we have vengeful and lustful, which are both, sins. Rate speed. That's actually pretty nifty. We could go and do some raiding. I don't think we will. But it's an option. So the way military works in this game is you have basically three classifications. You have the levies, which are just, kind of the common man that are, drafted into the army. You have your men at arms, which are the slightly more specialized. So armored footmen, pikemen, bowmen, light horsemen, light footmen, and onagers. Each one has benefits and downsides. So currently we start off with light horsemen, which have damage increases in plains and drylands, while in more mountainous type terrains, they have a negative multiplier, and they're also weaker during the winter. Each type can counter certain other types. So these guys are good against archers. While, say, I don't know if it'll show me. Maybe not. I thought it usually would say somewhere in here. But, so like the pikemen are probably good against the horsemen, while bowmen are good against light, and so on and so on. Onagers are primarily only used for sieges and do increase the speed. They are good to have, but at this stage, when we're limited to two different types, we're better off getting either the light footmen or the armed footmen or the bowmen. Probably the light footmen or the armed footmen are going to be the ones we want. And then finally, you have knights. Knights are people that you can get from your court. So knights are in your court. You can hire them as knights. You can force, forbid, allow. Usually your some of your vassals can be knights. If you're in need of knights, you can invite more. So it's just kind of whatever. Mercenaries, similar to how they work now in EU4, where you essentially buy a company and control them. That's how they primarily work here. They do have like the different classifications. Okay, here we go. We can take a look here. So pikemen are good at mountains, desert mountains, and hills. Bowmen are good in, it looks like, forest, hills, and taiga. Armored footmen don't really have any particular advantage, but they do counter spearmen. Spearmen, yeah, those are good against cavalry. These guys are good against skirmishers, which are like the light footmen. And yeah. Like, that's interesting. I wouldn't think the light footmen would counter heavy infantry. Seems a little odd, but I don't know. I'm not the one that made the game. All right. I think that's a lot of the basics at the moment. We do have enough money. We can go ahead and construct a farms and fields. So we can preview this. It'll give us plus 0.5 per month. It'll take 3 years, which take a little bit of time, but it is very helpful to build up your holdings, especially your main holding, whatever your capital is. So let's construct this. Our consul and council, let's go ahead. I think I'm going to switch from taxes. We're not going to make quite as much money, but I do want to develop Dijon a little, as well as increase the time. So let's take a look here. How long is this now going to take? Curious if you have to, like, set this guy up earlier or what? But all right. So I think I'm gonna put a cut in here for now. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.